Every year before the season starts, ESPN releases a number of top 10 rankings where they bring together executives, coaches, and scouts to vote on the top 10 players at each position. Earlier this week, they released a top 10 tight ends list, and Jake Ferguson wasn't on there, and I was not happy about it. If you want a full-length video on that, leave a like down below on this video and comment. I really want to make that video, so make sure you do those two things. But for now, ESPN just released their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, and boy, the Dak Prescott disrespect is off the charts. Let's talk about it. He always does well enough to be in the top 10, but never gets over the hump, an NFC executive said. He makes all the throws, he's playing the position at a high level, but something's missing. There are a lot of factors in that, from the running game, play calling, defense, and Dallas hasn't won in a long time. But certain guys are going to elevate their team late in the game, and Dak doesn't seem to do that. He's lacking that high-end ceiling, plays the position really well, but not an elite athlete and passer like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are, an NFL personnel director said. They need to support him in those big matchups. He's really good, but not quite good enough to elevate the entire team in those games. And we're going to pick that apart in just a moment. Let's look at Dak's stats from the 2023 season, where he finished second in MVP voting. He was third in passing yards, sixth in air yards, first in money throws, first in touchdowns, seventh in yards per attempt, eighth in accuracy rating, third in deep ball completion percentage. You get the idea, right? So let's break down what these executives and personnel people said. He always does well enough to be in the top 10, but never gets over the hump. We're going to sit here and talk about getting over the hump while we have guys like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert. Have all of those guys gotten over the hump? Have all of those guys made it to a Super Bowl? No. So if we're going to talk about getting over the hump, then that's a fair argument for literally half of this list. He makes all of the throws, he's playing the position at a high level, but something's missing. There are a lot of factors in that, from the running game, play calling, defense, and Dallas hasn't won in a long time. But certain guys are going to elevate their team late in the game, and Dak doesn't seem to do that. This is such a weird statement. This person realizes that Dak is playing at a high level while also acknowledging that something's missing in the run game, the play calling, or the defense. But somehow that's Dak's fault. So if there is something wrong with the defense gives up 45, Dak should score 48 or 46. If you're making all the throws, you're playing the position at a high level, but something's missing, that sounds like a team issue. And I really hope that this executive is referring to the playoffs when it says Dallas hasn't won in a long time, because Dallas has won 36 total games in the past 3 seasons, 37 if you count their win against Tampa in the playoffs. Overall, this sentence just gives me a big headache. He's lacking that high-end ceiling, plays the position really well, but not an elite athlete and passer like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are. Wow, you named 2 elite quarterbacks. There are 30 other quarterbacks in the league. There are 8 on this list that are not Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely insane take to hold it against Dak that he's not Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen while you have Jared Goff in front of him at number 9. They need to support him in those big matchups. He's really good, but not quite good enough to elevate the entire team in those matchups. And this is the sentence that really leads us to the real reason that Dak is so low on this list. It's the playoff record. And I'm sure while you were watching this video, you were thinking the same thing. Dak hasn't played well in the playoffs. So for a little bit of perspective, let's look at a few playoff performances from guys that are on this list. And I want to preface this by saying I'm not a casual. I'm not calling these guys garbage. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just putting it into perspective that Dak is not the only quarterback in the NFL with his playoff issues. Justin Herbert's playoff record, he is 0-1, where he blew a huge halftime lead by scoring just 3 points in the entire second half of that game. Sure, people blame the defense the next day, but you can't put up 3 total points after being up 27 in the first half. Some of that blame falls on Justin Herbert. But remember, people aren't gonna, blame the defense for the Green Bay loss. That's all on Dak for not elevating his team late in that game. Not to mention that Herbert's total record in the NFL falls below 500. I believe he's 30-32. But we have to remember, these NFL executives don't care. You have to elevate your team. Herbert is 4 total spots ahead of Dak, by the way. Lamar Jackson's playoff record is 2-4. He has won the same amount of games as Dak has. And while winning the same amount of games, he has a completion percentage of 57%, which is lower than Dak, 6 passing touchdowns, which is lower than Dak, 6 interceptions in 6 total games. He has thrown 6 touchdowns, 6 INTs in 6 games. Not to mention, Lamar lost to the Chiefs in Baltimore, where the Ravens defense held Mahomes and company to 17 total points. Lamar and the Ravens had just 10 total all game. And a little nugget that I looked up while recording this video, Lamar and the offense scored 3 total points in the second half, and the Ravens defense did not give up a single score. But remember, it's all about elevating your team late in games. And I'm not going to get too much into the weeds here, but sounds to me like Lamar let his defense down because they gave up less than 20 points, 0 in the second half, and he in fact did not elevate his team. By the way, Lamar is 6 spots ahead of Dak on this list. Then you have Jared Goff at number 9, who has a respectable 5-4 record, but in 9 playoff games has just 8 total touchdown passes and has thrown more than 1 touchdown in just 1 game. And he has those low numbers despite throwing 308 total passes in his playoff career. But people will say that Goff made it to a Super Bowl. But I remember that year, everyone said that that was not the reason that they made it. And although Goff did make it to a Super Bowl, the Rams traded him. I'm not telling you all this to say that those other quarterbacks are garbage. I'm also not saying that Dak's playoff success has been good, because it hasn't been. Outside of the Tampa game that everyone likes to forget about, Dak hasn't shown up to play his best football. That's a fact. But using that argument against him while also putting guys like Lamar, Herbert, and Goff above him is actually insane. Especially when you look at a near MVP season that Dak just had, where he pretty much beat Lamar Jackson in every single category, but finished runner-up as the MVP. This whole thing is just absolutely insane to me. Dak is somehow underrated by his own fan base sometimes, underrated by national media, and just continues to play better and better football the older he gets, but never gets the respect that he deserves. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye.